chiropractic care isn't just about physical, it's also about mental. Literally, my youngest patient that I've had was 3 days old, and my oldest one to date is 98 years old. Our bodies are essentially an organic machine. That's what it is. Just like a plant. Right? A plant doesn't need much. It needs sun, photosynthesis, it needs water. What do we need? We need sun, we need water, we need food, we need oxygen. If you give us the things that we need, it is going to heal itself. Headaches, you should not have headaches on a regular basis. You should not have to be, okay, well, let me make sure I have this Tylenol at my desk or in my purse because there's a good possibility I'm gonna have a headache. The pain is telling you that whatever it is that you're doing, you're damaging something. So if it masks it, you're going to continue to do what you were doing before, which is injuring it. You shouldn't sacrifice your spine for your time.
Thank you again for being here with us on the Liquor Lawyer Podcast. I am your host, Joey Wallace with JW Law, connoisseur of all things personal injury and all things intellectual property. I have here with me again my amazing co-host, Monique Mead. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Round two. Of course, I have my amazing guest, Dr. Kristina Howell from Atlanta's Mobile Chiropractic Clinic.
Hello.
Happy to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Doing good?
I'm happy to be here. I think that what you guys are doing here is going to be very beneficial. So I'm glad you invited me.
All right. So before I get started, this is the Liquor Lawyer Podcast. And last time we did not partake in the liquor. So, we gotta get things going with a shot today.
For sure.
We got some tequila. We got some dark rum.
I'll do a small tequila.
What's that, a large tequila?
And I just want to say for the record, I typically stick to Tito's and gin, but we're going to venture out and get a little bit of this rum today.
Okay.
A little swig. Should I pour mine?
You can.
Where did you get this from, Joey?
That is Barbados rum. It's called Bumbu. It's really good. It's really smooth. It's nice.
Okay.
This is some Reposado. This is where it's from, but it's good. So.
No, my friends love that tequila. I'm not a tequila girl, but I always hear good things.
That's good. That's good.
Where are you at? Okay. I'll do a little.
You got the JW Law shot glasses. Please take note.
I got one of these at home, Joey.
Yes, you do.
For the record, I do not drink tequila, so.
Oh, this could be interesting.
This is at least going to be a little bit sweeter than the tequila.
Ooh. Here we go.
All right. What are we toasting to?
A great podcast episode and learning
podcast
all
episode.
about your profession.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
Bottoms up. Oh, my bad.
This just gave me flashbacks to my season in Puerto Rico.
That is the reason why I don't like tequila.
Wow.
I should have tried the rum.
Should have taken the rum.
I should have taken the rum.
Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. It's smooth.
It's pretty smooth, right?
It's never in the moment. It's like afterwards, right? Because when I drink, I'm not just going to do a baby shot and keep it pushing,
It's a good 45 minutes, 45 minutes after that, and you've continued to drink, so it all just...
4 shots later, you wake up and you don't know.
There's sugar in there.
All right, let's get back to business. Ms. Howell, how are you again?
I'm good.
All right, so, I guess the biggest question is, what made you think of mobile chiropractic? Because I was talking to some colleagues a couple of weeks ago, and they had no idea that people do mobile chiropractic. So that's kind of a really unique niche you're in. What brought about that idea?
So back in 2019, I realized that I did not like being in an office. So this whole idea of being mobile, it kind of just slowly led into it. I didn't just wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to do mobile. I just started realizing I don't like being in an office that much. I don't like being closed in. And a couple of my friends were like, hey, can you adjust me? And when we were in school, we would adjust people that was outside, maybe in their home or something like that, as practicing, if we had teachers and stuff. So once we graduated and I started getting patients, they were just like, well, I can't come to the office. Can you just come to my house and adjust me? And I was like, well, I guess I can. you're technically a patient. I'm licensed in the state. And it just went from there, and I started seeing more patients wellness-wise, mobily. And when I graduated from school, I went in straight into PI, which is personal injury. Mm-hmm. After doing the wellness mobily for a little bit, I started wondering, well, why can't we do personal injury? We find a lot of personal injury. They have a lot of gaps in treatment for multiple reasons why they can't come into the office. And then, of course, again, I don't like being in an office. Mm-hmm. So I just started doing it. I got my LLC, did all the things to formulate a business, and then I just started working with attorneys because I was marketing with other attorneys, with other people, other chiropractors that I worked with. So my name was already kind of out there, associated with other chiropractors. Mm-hmm. So I started letting those attorneys know that I started my own business. And
word of mouth.
Exactly. And those relationships that I was building was my face there. I might have been working with another chiropractor, but it was my face that they were seeing. It was my name.
Right.
I was the ones that were treating them. So I started to work on those relationships separately on my own. And it was a little harder at the beginning because I was associated with someone else. Mm-hmm. And it
took a bet on yourself.
Yeah. It just kind of took off because at that time I was pregnant. It was 2020.
COVID.
In the heat of COVID when you started this?
So yeah, because it was in the end of 2019 when I was really just starting with the wellness aspect of it. And then probably towards the end of 2020 was when it really got me thinking about doing it personal injury and checking the legal sides of it and everything.
So how'd that go? I mean, nobody was seeing anybody during COVID, right? The whole social distancing and all that stuff. How did you get people to be comfortable?
We were considered essential workers, chiropractors, as far as physicians. Or in the state of Georgia, we can't call ourselves physicians, doctors. So we were essential. So we were still treating patients. Mm. And people actually liked it more because they didn't have to leave. And at the time, I had booties that we would put on our shoes, and then I had a face mask and stuff like that. And of course, we're always sanitizing the tables and gloves and that sort of thing. So I had a lot of pregnant women who I was seeing at that time towards the end of 2020.
When you say personal injury, PI, what do you mean by that? Are you seeing people who have been in accidents recently, or you mentioned pregnant women? How do you explain?
Differentiate?
Yeah.
So the good thing is with chiropractic, it is what we call preemptive care. Cool. So when we see an MD, we only go to a doctor when we're hurt. Mm-hmm. Right? You're not just going to say, hey, I'm going to go see Dr. Joe just because it's a Monday. Mm-hmm. With chiropractic care, you can see us before you were in an accident for wellness, during, and post. Awesome. So with PI, it's everyone who has been in an auto accident or currently being treated specifically for that accident.
Okay.
But pregnant women benefit, children benefit. Literally, my youngest patient that I've had was 3 days old, and my oldest one to date is 98 years old.
How do you work with someone that's 3 days old? What are you what are you doing? Yeah,
So chiropractic care is essentially, we deal with neurological. Mm-hmm. We're technically the only field that work with multiple systems in the body, primarily musculoskeletal and neuro. And when a baby is born, it's actually quite traumatizing for either a natural birth, or for both a natural birth and a C-section. Mm-hmm. For a natural birth, do you have kids?
No.
You have kids, right?
Yes.
So during a natural birth, we have those contractions. It is literally, if they're positioned properly, it's their head that is ramming, essentially. And I know that sounds vividly, it's gross, but that's what it is. It's because they're coming out head first. Mm-hmm. But then there's a lot of things. They pull them by their head, or during a C-section, they pull them out. And we don't really think about it because babies can't complain. Mm-hmm. We want that cry to clear out their lungs. But have you ever heard someone say he likes to breastfeed off one side more than the other?
Right, yeah.
It's never the breast. It's the fact, well, I'm not going to say never. It's mostly not the breast. It's the fact they can't turn their head that way. It's uncomfortable.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah, and those are different things that when we're learning in school, they're like, okay, he likes this way, this side, right? Because most of the time when you're holding the baby, you're holding them the same way. You're either going to hold them like this or like that, or either
They always like a side. It seems like.
But if you were to position them differently and then have them go to that side, they would still latch, but you'd realize their head is always going to be turned that same way. It's generally because there's something going on in the neck that we can clear out. Colic, getting adjusted baby colic. You hear about babies there when after they're constipated when they leave the hospital. The 4-day-old patient that I had, she hadn't used the bathroom since she had come home, and they're supposed to be. After I got done adjusting her, she had a blowout like within 15 minutes, and I was like, that's all you guys, I'm gonna go now.
That's hilarious. I just changed a blowout diaper for my cousin, and I was like, awesome, I love babies.
You are a great cousin. Like,
you know, and it was the one diaper I changed. I said, let me help you. As soon as I start taking that thing off, it got crazy.
Right, it's like, where does it stop? Where's it coming from?
But it was like immediate satisfaction for the baby once you finished, whatever process or treatment you gave. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was, and that's exactly how the body works.
What's the trigger point though? Like, what makes a mother say my 4-day-old child needs chiropractic care? Like, what is it that they're not using, not going to the bathroom, or they're not breastfeeding on both sides, or like what makes them call you for that?
Well, honestly, that's a really good question, and it's about knowledge. And us educating people and patients that these are things that chiropractic, because a lot of times they're not going to know. They're going to take them to the doctor, and may give them something. They may give them some medication, or they may say, rub their stomach clockwise or counterclockwise or something like that. But it's about educating our patients and letting them know, yes, you can see a chiropractor. Because most of my videos on Instagram, you see adults and you're hearing these popping noises and you're hearing this, but that's not what all chiropractic is about. But my goal and my mission is to let everyone know that these are all the different things that we can help with. And my patients are so great that they do allow me, they do give me permission to record them and for other people to be able to see just how beneficial this is for them.
Right. That's interesting. So you are 100% mobile. You don't have an office, and you're like, how all that? Yeah, because I imagine, like, for me, I work from home too, and just like driving, coming here, then have another meeting at 2, and then like just doing these multiple meetings. By the time I get home, I'm like exhausted.
Right.
So I can't imagine like what it is to be a 100% mobile chiropractor, that you're seeing patients and you're actually going there and like working, and then doing multiple patients a day.
And is it mostly at their homes? Or
so yeah, majority of them is at their homes, but we also go to multiple different locations. In an office such as this, I've adjusted a lot of different places. So
what's the strangest place you've adjusted?
So the strangest place, I've adjusted at a horse ranch.
That's kind of fun though.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and I got to go horseback riding afterwards.
Okay.
So that was fun. I've adjusted at a place. So there's a guy that was here, I can't say his name, but he worked with a lot of artists, and he had a place in Palmetto, real far out here. Palmetto's like about 45 minutes south of the airport. A lot of land, big lake, and they were actually shooting a video there at the time that I was adjusting everyone. And the next thing you know, we have a helicopter that is landing in the backyard, and I was like, okay, we're doing this.
That's
all
pretty
right,
cool.
This is what we're doing. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That is funny. So the patient showed up on the helicopter.
Pretty much.
To the place. Amazing.
Yeah.
Gotta love
and then
that.
I was adjusting the camera crew, and I was just like, this is what we're doing. It's okay.
It's a lot of business.
Yeah, it really is. It was a good day.
How often does that happen where you go see a patient and then it ends up turning into more than one patient? Is that ideal, or does that kind of mess up your schedule?
Well, of course, it's ideal for anyone that's like growing a business,
Sure.
But a lot more than you think. A lot of artists that I work with, let's see who I haven't had to sign an NDA for.
Then you're signing NDAs and everything. Okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
Important
a lot
people.
of them, yeah. A lot of them I do have to sign NDAs for.
Good for
And
them.
thank you. And so when we're in the studio, of course, you have the engineers that want to get adjusted then, and then you have the artists that want to get adjusted, and that does lead to a long night sometimes. But it is beneficial.
What's so like? How many in a day? Like on a full day, what is it like?
I guess
10?
so it would depend on the situation. versus like me being in one place, like we said before, like getting everyone. But we'll say for personal injury, for example, 18, 19.
In a day?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't even imagine that. That's
a very structured, good day, but yeah.
That is a long day. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And personalities.
Yeah. And
do you have trouble like dialing back? Like, I feel like that's the entrepreneurial problem. I feel like when you're really on your grind mode, like, do you have a hard time like setting a schedule and like taking time for yourself?
I would say no, but a lot of people around me would probably say yes.
Disagree.
Mikey, yes, probably agree. I've had to cancel and reschedule lots of lunches. But so I guess in a typical office, some people could see up to 50 people. 50, 60 people, but it's like you're really like, I hate to use the word churning, but you really are just churning them out.
Yeah.
I'm more of an introvert, so at times, yeah, it can be a little heavy, but I think that's what's so great about this process that I've created, this business that I've created, because when I'm transferring from one location to the next, I can listen to the music that I want to, I can call who I want to, I can, just not, there's lots of times when I just do not listen to any music at all. Yeah. Some people get in a car and they're just like, why is it so quiet in here? I'm like, I haven't even noticed.
Go for 30 minutes and it's quiet.
And it's nothing. I don't hear anything. Sometimes pull up in the driveway and just sit there for 10 minutes.
If you're busy all day, like, you kind of need that time to like decompress and just like be in your own thoughts and not have all type of interference. I can get that too. Like, I do the same thing sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And chiropractic care isn't just about physical, it's also about mental as well, and mental health plays a great part on our physical being. And not to get like super deep into it, but what you think about yourself and what you think about your day will really change everything. And I really wasn't a big believer in like affirmations and stuff like that until you like this guy I was talking to at another event. He was really into it. I'm just kind of like hogwash. Blah. And he was like, what do you have to lose, really? What do you have to lose for doing this just 5 days? Just do it. And he was telling just like a group of us, just do it for 5 days. And I was like, all right. I put a little post-it on my mirror and did it. And I was like, this works out pretty well, actually.
Yeah. And
when you're thinking good, you feel good, you do more stuff for yourself. And that's a lot of what chiropractic is about, is taking care of self. And people come to me that they have no issues at all. And when I say issues, they're not hurt, they're not in pain. But that's where the preemptive care is coming in. They're warding off that. They're trying to steer clear of that.
And that's the difference between like the wellness side of things and the personal injury side of things, right? Like the wellness patients are more like preemptive, and they're there for like just other stuff, like holistic stuff, right? Like.
Yeah. So our bodies are essentially an organic machine. That's what it is. Just like a plant. Right. A plant doesn't need much. A plant needs sun, photosynthesis. It needs water. What do we need? We need sun, we need water, we need food, we need oxygen. If you give us the things that we need, it is going to heal itself. Just like a plant. Now, things do get injured. Something comes by, breaks the stem. That stem goes to break off, and that's where we consider the term pruning. We break that piece off, right? Not that we do that with the body, but we remove that piece so that the body can focus. And that's what chiropractic does. We remove that interference to allow the body to do what it is that it needs to do naturally.
Okay.
So how do people book, or how do you prepare for those? I mean, I'm sure you get a lot of repeat clients, or you have clients that keep coming back, but like if I were to book an appointment with you and nothing was necessarily wrong, I guess you just have options to come like do a full wellness check, or like how do you?
So what you're asking is like, how would I determine what we're going to adjust if you come in as a wellness? Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So everybody needs to get adjusted. Everybody.
So I need to get adjusted.
Everybody needs to get adjusted. The reason being is because our bodies are not symmetrical.
It's true.
Right? We don't do everything. Think about when you open the door, you always use one side. Think about when you sit into the car, you always think about what side of the bed you sleep on. It's always that one side. We're not even. So what that means is one side of our body is getting more work than the other. Those muscles are a little tighter. Muscles are connected to bone. Bones move. So just that little bit pulls it out of whack, and that's okay. We can function forever. I mean, not forever, but we can function for a very long time and not an issue. But then you ever notice, like, say you're sitting at a computer desk and your upper shoulders right in here just start to get super, super tight. Or you get a headache out of nowhere. Or a lower back starts hurting.
My neck that won't go away, you know.
Exactly. So we are out of alignment on a regular basis. And that's just because the way our bodies move. Think about a car. You routinely have to do maintenance. Maintenance, and that's where we go back to organic machines. We have to have that maintenance because unlike a car, when we shut it off, it stops. We never stop. Even with us laying down, think about it. Do we always sleep in the best position possible? I don't know about you, but I'm like this, and sometimes I have a 4-year-old's foot in my face, and it's all over the place. I'm fighting for the bed and the covers. It's just
your life.
It's civil war in there, but we don't get that break. We never get that break. But because our bodies are so great, it will work at 110% until it can't. It will give you that caution light, just like in your car. Like, hey, there's a caution light, there's an engine light. It'll do that. And how many times everybody's just like, how many people have ignored it?
Right. Later, tomorrow.
Like, oh, it went off. Okay, cool. Then we're good. Oh, it's blinking again. Let me see how long it's going to take before it goes off. And that's literally where things are like, for example, headaches. They come periodically, right? But headaches, you should not have headaches on a regular basis. You should not have to be, okay, well, let me make sure I have this Tylenol at my desk or in my purse because there's a good possibility I'm going to have a headache.
Yeah, something else is going on there.
That is literally your body telling you that something is that's your caution, like, hello, this should not be it. This isn't it. So yeah.
Right. So what do you have to say to, like, a lot of people have like this negative perception about chiropractic care and what it is, and you know, they're not real doctors. Like, what do you have to say to people who say stuff like that about chiropractic care versus traditional, I guess, medical doctors?
Well, just like anything else, media, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And chiropractic care is a little newer than modern medicine, I guess, because it started back in long time ago. I can't even go back. It goes back to the Greek and the Romans. So chiropractic care is less than 200 years old. But when people have this negative connotation on it, I ask them simply, what are you were curious about it because clearly you're asking about it. So what made you, something about it said like, hey, you know, I can help with your low back. I can help with TMJ, headaches. Clearly that perked your ears up because you may have one of those things. But what are you doing for that now? And then some will say nothing. Some will say they go to their doctor. Some will say they take this pain medication. I'm like, so, okay. So you're more likely to take a pain medication that you don't know necessarily what's in it. They just told you it was going to make you feel better. But it's not figuring out what is actually wrong.
It's fixing the symptoms, not the problem.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's what chiropractic does. We do not prescribe any medications at all whatsoever. And so we try to figure out what is it that's causing this versus writing. And nothing against MDs at all whatsoever, because if you have a broken arm, do not come to me.
Right.
That is not my thing. Do not come to me for that. You break out of shingles, not my thing.
Right.
And I'm going to kindly refer you out. But what is it though? What's causing this? And if that's their mindset at the time, all we can do is politely and kindly give them as much knowledge as possible and allow them to make that decision for themselves. But it's just about education because facts don't lie.
Yeah.
We're not doing all of this stuff, but when you see in the news, you have these epidemics with pain meds and opioids and all of this stuff. It's like, you are in pain. You will take this script for this long.
Throwing Band-Aids on it.
Because the thing is, with a pain med, it's going to mask that pain.
Yeah.
But the pain is telling you that whatever it is that you're doing, you're damaging something. So if it masks it, you're going to continue to do what you were doing before, which is injuring it, which is damaging it. So when that pain comes back, it comes back sometimes 4 times fold.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people understand, like, like you have to. It's a lot of schooling to become. It's almost the same as a medical doctor, right? As far as how much school you have to go through and the length of time.
It is, and we actually do more anatomy classes while they're doing their pharmacology classes. We are doing medicine. We're studying the body, not medicine. We're studying the body while they're studying prescriptions.
Wait, explain this process to me, because I don't know the process that it takes from you to be a student to become a chiropractor.
Pretty much the same thing as going to MD. You go to undergrad.
Okay.
You can go ahead and get your master's if you choose, and then you go to your we went to a chiropractor. We got our doctorate, just like you would if you go to MD school.
Awesome.
Our residency is not as long as MD, but we still go through a chiropractic residency.
Oh, wow.
How long is it?
6 months.
Okay, and that's the residency is like where you're actually like working, but you're classified as a student.
And then we're also adjusting pretty much mostly through school. So technically, most residencies will start after they've graduated. We're going through ours before we graduated.
Right.
We're already taking patients months before that. So.
It's always interesting when I hear the professional schooling process, you know? I feel like the goal is always to set you up with that job or client or whatever, like before you graduate, but it's always interesting to hear.
It's not always the same. It's a little different, but it was a grind. So you could take 3.5, 4.5 years, same as you would MD. We finished ours, and a lot of mine that were with us, we finished ours in 3.5 years.
Okay.
So summa cum laude over here.
Hey.
All right, there we go.
But
Bravo.
But yeah, it was hard, and it was a lot. Not many people in our group started with us and finished at the same time because life happened, and we were taking upwards to 30 credits a quarter, and we were in quarter systems, so it's every 12 weeks. So it was.
Wait, 3.5 years of every 12 weeks of school? That's a lot.
Right. I'm like, I need a good 6 weeks just to get acclimated.
It was a quarter. It was a quarter. So it was during our, I think it was spring and fall breaks were only a week. You know, you did boards on Thursday. I mean, you took our finals on Thursday, and then the next Monday is when we were back in.
And the summer is weird too, isn't it?
I think it was just a month.
Okay, yeah. No, we definitely got longer than that on our semester system, so.
Did we? Well, yeah.
Yeah, because we had to go work.
Yeah, because we actually, our exams were like in November, like around Thanksgiving time, and we didn't come back to school till January.
Yeah.
Monica and I went to law school together.
Okay.
So.
Good old Georgia State.
Yeah, go Panthers.
Right, right.
Yeah, so what did you want to do? Like, when did you know you wanted to be a chiropractor? Like, was that always your goal, or like, were you trying to be before that?
No, actually, it wasn't. I was going to criminal justice.
Okay.
And I thought that's what I wanted to do. And I was in there for one semester. I was like, it's not for me.
Right.
We started getting on the courses of like kids, and I was like, you know what? That's not gonna work for me. It's just not. So then I always grew up on a farm, and I knew I wanted to do something in medicine.
Okay.
And I have a veterinary cross my mind, and my mom was just like, you know what? Just do your undergrad. Then you can figure it out.
Yeah. Just get that degree done.
Grew up on a farm. I thought I wanted to do that, and I was like, no.
So what do you end up getting your undergraduate in?
Biology.
Biology. I figured it was a science.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm doing it in biology at Albany State. Go Rams.
I got a lot of family that went to Albany.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ended up doing it at Albany State, and a chiropractor came. Never heard about chiropractic. Didn't know anything about it. And he was talking, and he showed this PowerPoint, and it had this video on there of a child who had cerebral palsy, and just how over the course of born with cerebral palsy, it's a congenital disorder, and over the course of maybe 9 months, he was able to actually start walking more. Now he had to continue with chiropractic care to keep that movement. But my brother has cerebral palsy.
That's pretty cool.
And
resonated.
we saw the surgeries he had to go through, and he's very strong. He lives in Colorado now, and I really wish he would have had that growing up, and that's what really like resonated with me. All the women in my family are nurses.
Okay.
And I knew I did not want to do that. My mother and my sister, both of my grandmothers, I was just like, I know I don't want to do that. My mother's a colonel in the Air Force, so she's a a flight nurse. And
pretty
so
cool.
my sister is a nurse practitioner in Athens, and both of my grandmothers worked at the hospitals. So very accomplished women. So I had a
Good foundation.
good foundation, but a high.
Did you feel pressure? Like, oh God, I gotta do something.
No, actually I didn't, but it wasn't necessarily a pressure. It was more so
Motivation.
wanting to make my mother proud.
Right.
And like she did all of this with 3 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I don't really have an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't, I'm kind of slacking just a little bit. So I am the first doctorate in my family. So I was like, was that enough? And she was like, no, you gotta keep going. She's like, it's not just enough that you
Never
got it. Now
enough.
you gotta do something with it. I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. I had no idea,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always really good with my hands, and it just kind of fell together.
Right,
It just made
right.
sense, which is kind of weird. You know, I don't think if you guys ever had that happen, like something just kind of like fell in your
yeah.
lap and it just
Right.
made sense. So,
My
yeah.
career today.
Right.
Yep.
Like,
How I got here, I don't know. I have no idea. It just worked out though. It worked out. So do you have plans to expand your business? Like, do you think you'll take on maybe any type of like interns or maybe other doctors under your wing in your practice? Do you have goals in that sense, or are you kind of like focused on?
So, yes,
Yeah.
I do. There's some things in the works. Can't really talk about it yet, but there are some things in the works definitely for expansion, because currently I run the largest mobile chiropractic office in Atlanta. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to keep it that way. And so yeah, anything, you have to be ready to change with the times, and you got to be ready to grow and to move with it. And so yeah.
that's what's up. So you said you grew up in a farm. That's not Atlanta. Where did you grow up? Where you from?
Originally from Florida. I grew up a little bit in New York, had family in Bronx and
Okay.
Brooklyn. And then I grew up on a farm south of here. South of here. You've probably never heard of it.
We probably have.
Tifton, Valdosta. What are we talking about?
Tai.
I never heard of
I'm
Tartar.
drawing a blank.
See?
I thought for
I
sure.
should've-
I was like,
I
you're
should've-
trying me. I'm from here. Like,
I should have put it, put your money on the table.
You
Tai.
should have. Because I was confident.
Right.
So yeah, grew up in Tai and 100 acres. Pretty much
Okay.
just about any animal you can
dream.
think of. Peacocks, hunting.
dream.
That's pretty cool. We got
I'm a
peacocks.
very big outdoors person, and that's where I got it from. But never heard of, like, no internet. Didn't have any of that growing up.
Right.
So who's on the farm with you? You said your mom. You have
My sister and my brother.
siblings, right? Okay.
And then on my dad's side of the family, that was their farm they lived on, and then that was pretty much it. We didn't have neighbors for, I don't know, many miles.
That's
So it's you, your
interesting.
family, your cousins, like
No cousins.
no cousins. Just
No, they didn't
I
live there.
love
They didn't live
it.
there. They lived somewhere else. They would come visit, but they didn't live there.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you guys like actually work the farm, like handling the
So
livestock and all
more
that.
livestock than actual like crops farming.
Okay.
Because we had cousins that, on my dad's side, they had cousins that managed them, like second and third cousins that would manage the farms and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. We would rent them out. But yeah.
That's so
Okay.
cool.
Y'all still have it? Y'all still is it still in the family? The farm.
Yep, I still have it.
Okay.
Still hunting, fishing, all of that.
That's the real outdoors right there.
Yeah.
I used to before I had my son, and because it was crazy because like I had my son, and then COVID. Well, sorry, I was pregnant. And of course, can't do anything much there. And then 2 years of COVID, so we're really just
Yeah.
getting into like a good year and a half afterwards. I would go hunting in Colorado a good bit. It's a little different here. You guys know anything about hunting here?
Not a thing.
No.
So here you just have like a hunting season.
Right.
Like, okay, this season you go out there. There you have to go in a lottery.
Oh, so it's
Oh,
overcrowded.
so
so
anybody
much.
can't hunt. You have to be chosen.
Yeah, you got to put into a lottery what you want to hunt, what you want to do, and then like you pick. It's kind of like literally, it's like a lottery.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you scratch what you want to do, you put
That's
it in, and they
interesting.
pull your name, and they're like, okay, you can go hunt elk. But you have this like.
So
week.
what were you hunting?
We were actually hunting elk.
Elk,
at the time.
okay.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So did you do the whole like hunt skinning?
So didn't have to do.
I gotta know. I'm
Didn't have to
sorry.
do the skinning. Luckily, didn't have to do the skinning. Did the classes for the skinning, and I was just like,
Too much.
Yeah.
because elk are really big.
Right.
Elk are very big, and when you're up there and you shoot it, like you have to bring it out.
Right.
And you're parking your car and you're walking like miles.
And you got to get it back to where you started.
And you have to get it back.
That's crazy.
No, the logical things that you don't think like until
Right.
you get in practice.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, you can't bring it back whole.
Yeah, that's.
I don't even know what that means.
I couldn't do it.
We'll talk about that. We don't want to get too gruesome, but I am so intrigued.
Oh man! So
That's
y'all,
crazy.
you guys hunted for sport or like actual like we want to like make stuff and
Oh, yeah.
cook them?
Yeah, we grew up never hunting for sport.
Okay.
You know, we were raised that, circle of life type of thing.
Okay.
If you kill it, eat it, that sort of thing, unless
Right.
it was a threat or something like that. So yeah, it was, we were gonna either eat it, sell it. A lot of the stuff that we would kill or eat, it was packaged up and we ate it.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're going to teach your son? Is he about to be out there?
Yes, actually, surprisingly, before I got here, we're actually redoing the entire backyard, and I did not know that I had agreed for it to start today. And so I'm getting dressed, and I hear this, like the nails and screws, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I was like, what is that? And we're like looking around because it sounds like something is messing up. Like I got a fan on, and then I look outside, I'm like, there's two guys in my backyard, like literally toting a fence.
Oh wow.
As he's walking off, and I called the guy, and I was like, we're doing this today? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I guess we're doing this today.
That's cool.
Because I want him to have
Yeah.
that outsideness, that Atlanta, it's very hard to get a house that has some sort of yard
Yeah.
that you can even do, and it's killing me.
tough.
It's killing
So
me.
you got to get out the perimeter a little bit.
I was like,
Yeah.
I need my son to be able to put his hands in some dirt, plant some stuff, and hunting will be later, but
We're going to get there.
Okay.
That's so cool.
I think last time we talked, you mentioned like you ride motorcycles. Is that like something that you learned on the farm, or is that like what's that about?
So I don't know how we got on that conversation.
What a badass. Like,
Four-wheelers.
Right.
Well, no, not quite a badass yet. No, because four-wheelers, yes. Motorcycles, no. So we got on it because I'd been on one, and then it was basically about people not communicating and telling me how fast they were gonna go and all of that. No, I grew up with them. My uncle did. My aunt rode them, and I guess they would call them more crotch rockets than like Harley Davidson bikes. So that's what they had, more of the crotch rockets. And my mother was like, I told her I wanted to get one. She was basically, her next response was, put me on your life insurance.
period.
Right.
Period.
And I was like, what? She was like, because I'm not paying for your funeral.
Period.
And that was all she was not playing. I was like, she's a nurse. She was like, she was not playing. This was it. And I was like,
Well, she didn't tell you no.
I'm sure she's
she
seen
was
all
like,
types of stuff.
I was like,
with
I'm gonna
motorcycles.
rethink this whole process. And then just driving in Atlanta, like nobody respects
Anybody?
anybody, I guess. Yeah. And you have a bike lane. The bike lane doesn't have it's an imaginary wall. Like nothing is saving you but this little white line. And then motorcycles, like I have a lot of friends that ride, and I would ride with them. Like huge bike groups. We're talking 40, 50 bikers. Like we shut down Atlanta when we would go. Like literally we would have bikers that go. People hate us at the time when we would go because we would have bikers go in front and literally stand in front of
everyone.
Cut off everyone.
You sound upset.
Annoying. I get so mad. I'm like, no, and it's always on a long trek home. It's never at a nice time.
Like what street is that Hooters is on? Us downtown, like literally smack down.
Peachtree?
Yeah,
Peachtree,
so
yeah.
they would cut off
Out of
Peachtree.
control.
Yeah.
Are you cutting off Peachtree?
Hey, I wasn't the one doing it. I was along for the ride. I literally, I'm just on the back of a bike. I had nothing to do with it.
hilarious.
But literally, it would be like 40, 50 people. Just Can-Ams, bikes, everything just go at once. And then we would ride from there, Camp Creek, all the way up to Sandy Springs, and we just go around. But that was the last time because I was riding with somebody and they went up to like 110 or 75. And I was like, get me off. At the time, I'm like this.
Correct.
Silent prayers.
Right.
But then as soon as we got to the gas station, I'm like, dude, that was so not cool.
I need to get on somebody else's bike.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not
To
doing
get
it.
off the bike. That's,
Right.
I
I'm
was
done.
like, I got on the Can-Am and I was like, I'm not doing this
Yeah.
anymore. I was like, take me home.
That's interesting. But you got a bit of a wild streak, like to be outdoors and do all type of.
I wouldn't say necessarily wild, but I do like to have fun.
Right.
But safety wise.
Okay.
You know, yeah. But I do like to explore a good bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing when you're not working and up and down Atlanta, cracking people's backs and doing stuff? And what do you do for fun?
I like to travel a good
Okay.
bit. I travel. As I mentioned before, like outside stuff, scuba diving, snorkeling, hunting, fishing.
Do you get your scuba diving license and all that? So, or the training?
So I've almost got it.
Oh, look at that.
Almost got it. My stepdad is a scuba instructor. I just haven't, every time I go, I just have to finish this one course because you have to do it together after a certain amount of time. So pretty much I can go down to 60 meters right now.
That's a lot. That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's as far as like I'm allowed to go right now. But yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Where do you go scuba diving at?
I have gone scuba diving in St. Lucia,
Okay.
DR, and I will be scuba diving in Dubai. Not
In
next
Dubai?
week. Yeah. And
Nice.
the week after next.
The life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
At the end of, on the 21st.
Is that a solo trip you're taking?
No, it's a family trip.
Your family's cool. Adopt me. Look, I'm trying to be part of the crew. That is so cool. Dubai.
Okay. I mean, let's bring it back a little bit to chiropractic care. Do you have any like tips or suggestions that can kind of help people in their day-to-day, like stuff that you normally see that you could avoid if you do something simple with your life?
Yes. I think a lot of people, and I know that I'm guilty of it, that once we get up, we would try to stay in the bed until like the absolute last minute that we have to get up, right? And then we get up, we either go get our coffee, or if you're a workout person, like you immediately just start working out or take a shower. I think we need to take an extra 5 to 10 minutes and actually just like stretch and get our body moving before we do anything. It will make a whole lot of difference. Just like not looking at your phone, just give that couple of minutes to not do that. Don't look at any screens and just get up and just stretch and warm your body up to get ready for the day. That would be the kindness that we could do to ourselves.
Right, yeah, the morning, that first, like, when you get up and you try to do something, that's when everything kind of hurts and you kind of
Right,
feel
absolutely.
cricks in your back and all that. So, I mean, that makes sense to kind of stretch.
And then just a simple few yoga poses and stuff, cat, dog, downward dog, cat and camel, those sort of things. They're not extensive, and that allows the body and the muscles to just start kind of warming up. Because eventually, like you hear people when they get up, they roll out of bed like, oh, this. Or you try to move your neck and like, oh, this. Yeah. And then you just start pushing through the day. And our bodies just don't really function great over a long period of times. Like that.
Right. Old age, it's not a game.
No, right? Are you accepting new clients at this point?
Of course. Always.
Awesome.
Always.
It's gonna be me.
I know you're a former athlete.
It's gonna be me. I know. I had back surgery when I was real young, and I've always dealt with those chronic kind of issues. So
what happened?
I had really bad scoliosis, so I had a bad S curve, and my shoulder blade started coming out. So I think I was 11, 12, and they did 2 rods and a dozen screws.
Wow.
So that
that's
was me.
Yeah, we've had a couple patients like it's traumatic.
Yeah,
especially
I didn't
at a young age.
Correct, but it was honestly perfect for me because I bounced back so quickly. Like within a few months, I was playing volleyball again and trying out for the team. So I don't know. I think it's also really beneficial that I had it so young, but now I'm like 33 and I'm like, I feel everything all the time. The rain, it's coming.
It's like I was asking somebody today, I was like, is it gonna rain today? It's like, just ask you.
Right.
You're right. But for me, like, it's always tough to make time to go just to the dentist, like, let alone like the chiropractor that you push off and then you have to go to some office that's not typically convenient and then you want a relationship. So I mean, it's brilliant that you're kind of cutting out that
thank you.
Additional factor.
Yeah, I only go to the chiropractor when something hurts. So
right.
Forced to, right?
Yeah, like
cranking my neck.
when it's been hurting for like 5 days and it's not going away, I'm like, okay, I gotta go see what's going on.
The light didn't go off, right? The light didn't go off. Okay, this isn't going away. I can't ignore it. It's something about it. Yeah, that's like you mentioned, the time it takes. Like the dentist, you go, twice a year, 3 times a year. That's what mobile chiropractic does for everyone. It eliminates that time. On a daily basis, think about it. Getting in here, you stop work, get down to your car, that's a couple minutes. Get in traffic, getting to the office, depending on how close it is, that's 20 minutes. Sit in the lobby, 10, do your therapies, another 10, 15. Sit in the office. If they come in immediately, another 10, 15. If they don't, that's 20, 25 minutes. Yeah. Check out, get back to the car, get back in. We're looking at about a 2-hour turnaround. And what do you do when you get back here? You don't immediately just start back getting into work. It's like you got to get back into the mindset of work again. So that's 2.5 hours out of your day when I could have came in here and knocked out maybe 30 minutes.
You know, and we live in the work from home era. Like, it's just, I don't know.
And at the time, and that's really like our motto, it's like you shouldn't sacrifice your spine for your time. And they're like, you know, thank you. They're going to ignore it. The general public will ignore it until it's just like, no. But then when they will call me, they're like, hey, I'm having this pain. You've had this pain for months. Maybe even years. But then don't get upset if I can't knock it out.
Right away.
In one session,
in
right?
one session. But I can help you assess what it is instead of just giving you a pain med. Because that pain med, you felt better then, but in 4 to 6 hours, it's going to be gone.
And I would always struggle too. They'd be like, and then when you get home, do these things.
Nope.
I'm like, yo, okay. I'm going to do it. So I know that's got to be that mix between that immediate gratification and then us not, as patients, not doing what we're supposed to do when we get home, and then coming back and you're like, I'm not God, like, I'm not a miracle worker now.
Right. And it's like we know that, and we do the best that we can. And, you know, we ask them, don't stress, just be kind to yourself, do what you can do. And I'm here to handle what the rest. Just let me do what I do.
And then from a personal injury standpoint, it's one of the biggest problems is clients missing appointments and, you know, that gap in treatment. So having a mobile chiropractor that can kind of keep on the patient kind of helps with that problem a lot. So
absolutely. Giving them that availability to go ahead and get them in, and then setting them a schedule. Like, okay, what is your life like? And that's what I help them with. I'm really good at helping them figure out a schedule that we can work with. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, I got this, and they get very overwhelmed. I'm like, just tell me what your typical day is. Because honestly, because they're not familiar with how this works, which is why I do a lot of the Instagram too, so they can kind of see. Because the mindset of it, they're like, how is this going to work? Simple. Literally just works just like this.
Should you give her Instagram since we're on the podcast? You got to shout out to the people.
It's Atlanta's with an S _ mobile chiropractic.
Atlanta's mobile chiropractor.
Atlanta's mobile chiropractor.
Chiropractor. Okay.
I mean, we are running short on time, so if you have any other plugs you want to make, you know, promotions, you know, go ahead and say it.
In Atlanta, Georgia, within 285, mobile. I come to office, work, and of course, horse ranches and everywhere else. And it's Atlanta's mobile chiropractor. Yep, that's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's it, guys. I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a good time.
No problem. Thank you again, Monique, for coming out and supporting the cause. Appreciate it.
Of course, I got to do chiropractor, so we're in it to win it.